Hi, this is Dan and Lexi from Dan Schultz Outdoors, reminding you to keep the adventures alive.
Hey y'all, I'm Johnny.
And I'm Colleen. And we're the C.W.Coetz. And we want you to keep the adventures alive. Cheers!
Hey, this is Darren from Ride Paddle Repeat, encouraging you to keep the adventures alive.
This is David from Beachley Ironworks saying keep the adventures alive.
Hey, Kevin with an A here. Keep the adventure alive.
Hi, I'm Dan Mayotte. Keep the adventures alive.
Hi, I'm Kevin Callan, the Happy Camper. Remember, keep the adventures alive. Awesome!
Woo, buddy! Shug here. Keep the adventures alive. I am.
Ethan here, the avid outdoorsy guy, reminding you to keep the adventures alive.
We're John and Aaron.
Keep the adventures alive.
Hey everyone, it's Kylan from Lure of the North, and I encourage you to keep the adventures alive.
This is Sky North telling you, keep the adventures alive. And now on with the show.
Well, hello, and welcome to Canoehound's Outdoor Adventure Show. On tonight's episode, we will be celebrating Kevin Callan Celebrity Birthday Roast, with special guest roasters from the camping show, C.W.Goetz, author and Canadian paddling icon, Hap Wilson, from Recreational Barrel Works, Andy Baxter, from Paddling Adventures Radio, Sean Rowley, from Canadian Outdoor Equipment, Tim Foley, author and American paddling icon, Cliff Jacobson, country recording artist, Jerry Vandiver, a little guy with something up his butt, Gary the Puppet, and the lovely Kristine Redmond. And from Canoehound Adventures, tonight's roast master, Canoehound. And tonight's guest of honor, the happy camper, Kevin Callan. Tonight's show is brought to you by Algonquin Outfitters Outdoor Adventure Store, celebrating 60 years in business. Kid Products, stick stoves and reflector ovens, proudly made in Canada. And Hunter & Harris Paddles, quality handcrafted canoe paddles made in Ontario. And now, your roast master, Canoehound. Hey everybody, and happy Tuesday evening. Hope everybody's had a great week, and man, oh man, am I excited to bring you this show tonight. We have below me right now in the basin area there, we got like 8 or 9 fantastic characters, including tonight's roastie, Mr. Kevin Callan. And you know what? Tonight's going to be a joyful evening. Hopefully, everybody's prepared for this. Hopefully, you've got your adult diapers on in case you pee yourself. We're going to be laughing a little bit tonight, and hopefully, you have a couple of cocktails and you're ready to sit back and relax. Before we do get on with tonight's roast, basically, I just want to get a few things out of the way, like I always do. Just so we can let that chat over there populate. We got a lot of people coming in to watch the show tonight, so we just want to make sure we're on top of everything. First things first, if it's your first time joining us, please do tune in every Tuesday evening as we are live here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. We tend to bring you great topics, great personalities that you may enjoy and watch on YouTube, and it's a great way to learn about a little bit more about the people that you enjoy and watch. If you enjoy tonight's show, I really encourage you to hit that thumbs up button down there. It really helps us get noticed on the algorithms with YouTube. We've been on a little bit of a roller coaster ride here lately, and the roller coaster's going uphill, and that's always a good thing. And you know what? It's always grateful if you hit that subscribe button so that you can tune in and hit the notifications so you know when we are going live here every Tuesday night. Anyways, last week we had a rather cool show. It was our third annual winter camping special. We had Camper Christina, we had Nate Muskoka, we had Kevin Callan, and a couple of others on, Martin Pine and Dave Hadfield, actually. And you know what? We talked a lot about winter camping. We talked about gear. We talked about food. We talked about clothing, how to stay warm, all kinds of neat tips. And it was a 3-hour show. Yes, it was a little long, but you know what? It was just so packed full of information that, we could have probably gone on for another hour or two, judging by some of the comments I've received by email and in the comment section saying, you could have covered this, you could have covered that. Well, there's only so much time. 3 hours was a long show, but if you happen to miss it, or if you haven't watched it, just feel free to go back into our season 3 playlist and you can watch that at any time. And while you're at it, you know what? Go back and watch season 2 and season 1 as well, because season 1 and season 2 also have information about winter camping that's very pertinent. It doesn't grow old, and it's all information that you can take to the bank when it comes to winter camping. So by all means, check that out. Just want to congratulate last week's swag winners. Algonquin Outfitters threw in a couple of great prizes, or like little clusters of prizes. And Camper Kristine also threw in a couple of her backcountry camping for beginner courses through Udemy. And the winners were John Prouty was one of our winners, and Emma Joyce. So congratulations to you two. Your information has been passed on to the respective parties, and you should be seeing your things either by email and in the mail quite soon. So that's a good thing. Let's see, really quick. Thanks to everybody who helps support the channel. It does go a long way. We do have a couple of new channel members. I'd just like to welcome Michael Schertzberg and Dan Gibbs into being channel members. And if any of you are interested in becoming a channel member, maybe gaining a little more insight and a few perks that we have to offer, there's a join button just below my microphone here, down below on the screen. Check it out. For as little as 13 cents a day, you can really help support Canoehound Adventures. That's like $3.99 a month. And it helps pay for all this streaming software and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be helping to pay for a little better internet. That there I'm still waiting for. So just to let everybody know, if I happen to freeze up or black out a bit or something like that, our guests have been been told to just keep going. I'll roll back in one way or another and keep the evening going. But yes, those internet gremlins are back after a couple of really good weeks. So we got that there and that there. Let's see here. Before when I approached tonight's roastee about the show, he said that he would love to do it, and he said he would really prefer that if we were doing this, that he would prefer if we could try to put a purpose to it. And we spoke a bit, and we agree that we both really support Project Canoe. So what we decided to come up with, and you might have seen this on Facebook and posted already, and I'm just going to put the ticker on the screen here. But basically, we come up with some really cool decals. The commemorative decal, a Kevin Callan Celebrity Birthday Roast decal. And I am also throwing in a Canoehound Outdoor Adventure Show decal. these here are very high quality. Great way to commemorate tonight's evening, but also, you know what? It's a great way to support a great cause. For $10, it's all it costs, includes shipping. Everything's included. And we will get one of these out to you in the mail. And of all the profits that come in for this, it's going all to Project Canoe. Yeah, I got that right. Project Canoe. If you're looking for the link, it's going across the bottom of the screen. We'll get it posted in the chat a few times tonight there, so you can get over there. And by all means, get on. Pick yourself up one. Pick up two. Pick up three. They make a great stocking stuffer for your Canoehound adventures or your Kevin Callan fan. And they're limited edition. These here, once Christmas hits, they're gone. I'm not gonna do another rerun of them or anything like that. Once they're gone, they're gone. So by all means, pick it up. They're awesome. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. Look at that happy face. Look at that happy face. Right. So yeah, by all means, help us support Project Canoe by buying a $10 sticker packet. It'll be out in the mail to you within a couple of days. So with that being said, let's see here. Where am I? You know what? Tonight, just let you know, there's going to be no swag giveaway because we have a lot of entertainment going on. We're not going to be taking any questions on screen, so feel free to chat amongst yourself over there. Put a lot of laugh emojis in there for those of you that are channel members. Use them emojis that you get with becoming a channel member. Have some fun with them. But you know what? Everybody sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Anyway, so we got to get going with this because we do have a lot of time to cover and a lot of guests to cover as well. So I think it's only fair that I introduce tonight's guest to you. Let's start with this.
Hi, I'm Kevin Callan, the Happy Camper.
Woo! Yes, I'm Apostle number 14. Well, if you visited me instead, you would have been fine. It's a one sexy beast, I'm telling you. I called you poopy pants. Sorry about that.
Did you really?
I will hold in my urine for you, Dennis.
You have to remind Kevin that this is a family show.
What about the chipmunks?
Awesome.
Hey, if it is the birthday boy himself, Mr. Kevin Callan. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you well pickled yet?
I'm not. I had tea and went for a nice walk in the snow before that. So, but I'm good. I'm good now, though.
You're good.
I've got some left over for my birthday. I got myself.
There we go. Well, before we rake you over to Coles tonight, I just want to propose a quick toast to you. Happy birthday. 78 years. That's awesome.
Oh, geez. It's starting already, is it?
What? Oh, I'm sorry. That's 58 years old. I was just going by the way you looked. I'm sorry. That's
Wait, let me get my walker.
Kevin, I remember the first time you and I met. I think it was at one of the Toronto Outdoor Adventure shows, and I wasn't expecting to see you there because I was actually going back to see Tim Foley because I wanted to return all the Kevin Callan books I had, right? And he opened one of them up and he's seen your autograph in there and he goes, "Oh, I can't take this. Somebody already scribbled in it." Right. So it's like, yeah. Anyway. Well, Kevin, you know what? I hope you sit back, relax. We're going to be bringing up our roasters tonight one at a time. And we're going to be having quite a fun evening. So without further ado, let's get into our first roaster of the evening. Our first roaster of the evening hosts a podcast called The Camping Show. He's a semi-successful drummer, but he doesn't play anymore. He has a YouTube channel. Let's not even go there. But wait, holy shit. I think I'm reading my own bio. Wait a second. Yeah. Oh, well, never mind. This guy and I, you know what? We are actually very similar. We must be cut from the same cloth. Brothers from different mothers. Please welcome to the live stream, C.W.Goetz. C.W.
Oh my God. I love it, man. I think we have similar bios because, and the funny part, I was thinking he must be referring to that Captain Groovy 70s freak show thing.
Yeah. I wish I had that picture to put up.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
right.
you know what, C.W.? The
Yes,
floor is all yours.
The floor is all mine. Okay, well, I'll just start. First of all, thank you for having me here tonight, Dennis. I appreciate it. It's a privilege and an honor to be here. But I got to tell you, last year at the Quiet Adventure Symposium in Michigan, I got to spend some time with Kevin one evening, and I got to know him pretty well. And I must say, he's every bit as energetic as they say. What's more, he's one of the best drunken Canadians I've ever met. But what a pathetic taste in liquor. I mean, you should see the name of the brands of hooch this guy buys. Like Monkey Butt? Really? We were in Cliff Jacobson's hotel room that night with some friends, and there was this fly that I saw him land on Kevin's arm. And I think he lasted about 6 seconds before dropping over dead from all the alcohol that was coming out of Kevin's pores on Kevin's arm. Yeah, and then there were the fireside whiskey chats. Are you kidding? I mean, how can you take a guy seriously when he's sloshed in front of the camera at 8 a.m. in the morning? I mean, instead of the happy camper, they should call him the tipsy camper, maybe, right? But seriously, he's one funny guy who's as conservative as they get. I mean, it's not everyone who would do the noble gesture of peeing on a tropical plant in front of a classroom of high school kids just to save a Dixie cup. It's like, oh, Dixie cup. But, I was really excited to read Kevin's latest book, Complete Guide to Winter Camping, 2nd edition. That is until I found out his mother had written it for him. In fact, most people don't know this, but Kevin's 80-year-old Scottish mother has been writing his books ever since he blew the audition for drummer of the band Rush back in the 80s. Good thing he became a forester. But apparently forestry and wood has always been in your genes. Wait, you know what I mean. Never mind that. Scratch that. But many people look up to you, and rightfully so, because you're one tall ass dude, Kevin. I hope 58 treats you well, and maybe this year you'll finally grow up. But honestly, never get old. I mean, look at Cliff Jacobson. He's still telling doctors he's 34, man. Yeah, right? You're only as young as you feel. But you still look great, and you're a rock star in the paddling and camping adventuring communities, which is something to be proud of. You're an amazing guy, a lot of fun to party with, a good friend, and wise enough to know where not to ask for directions when you're lost in the city. But seriously, and from the heart, thank you for being someone who enjoys helping others, who genuinely cares about people, and who's always willing to come on a public broadcast to share your knowledge and support us broadcasters by helping us look respectable at what we do. Well,
is this like a Dean Martin roast or what?
This is my Don Rickles take on the Dean Martin roast. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd rake a little bit. I mean, that would be fun. But I had to throw the Dixie cup in there, and I don't know if we have time to share that story, but I will tell you this. Kevin came on the show, as he does frequently, and by the way, I appreciate that. And before the show, there was something about, I don't know how we even got onto this thing, but it was about, I had to pee in a Dixie cup, and I don't remember what it was for. Do you recall that, Kevin?
Yeah, the school I was working at a couple of months ago was in a lockdown. There was a violent act going on in the hall, and they were all used to it. It was downtown Toronto. I was not. And I said, well, what do you mean? So we can't leave? Well, when are we going to leave? Well, we don't know, Kevin. This happens all the time. I went, I have to pee.
And I had mentioned before the show about peeing in a Dixie cup. And I said, I had to do it. Why couldn't you just get a Dixie cup and pee in it? He goes, what? Pee in a Dixie cup? I've never done that. I'm like, you've never taken a drug test and had a pee in a Dixie cup. Seriously.
No.
So well, first you have to have a job, Kevin, and then you can. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, so part of the roast. But anyway, so I thought you'd pee in a plant in front of some kids before you'd pee in a Dixie cup. So I had to bring that up.
It never happened, but I was desperate. And actually, to make it worse, though, Hap Wilson will tell you a story if he can get on. He's trying to get on. He was in a parking lot in Toronto just before a TV show, and he had to go number 2. And he did that in a Tim Hortons cup.
Oh, wow.
Number two.
Wow. Now that's got to take some talent to get rid of it. Yeah. Wow. Love it. Well, and it's one of those things where you do what you got to do. And I'm telling you, if you think that aiming in a Dixie cup is easy, try it sometime. I mean, since you've never done this, you need to experience that once in your life, at least. So, because you'll probably
CW. I know you've had Kevin on your show quite a few times, and I'd be insulting myself if I said why such a low-rated celebrity to have on your fantastic show. But I'd be shooting myself.
Well, what happens is he's my go-to guy, Kevin. You know, like you got those, and it's like I can't find anybody else. Okay, I'll call Kevin.
It's true. It's true. Every time you call me, it's like I have a cancellation. Can you be on? I've never been asked to be on your show because you wanted me.
No, I don't think that's
and that happens often because Kevin's on your show every other week. Oh, wait a minute, I'm talking about my show too. What the hell?
You know, I think maybe just the three of us could have our own show and we could come on every week and just But I have called you in all like a big long span. It was like 3 days one time before the show that I called you. That's quite a while, right?
You called me 2 hours before your show.
I did. I wouldn't doubt it.
What's the allure of having Kevin Callan on your show?
Well, it's the sex appeal, really. I mean,
I thought so.
Yeah,
I thought so.
I mean, it makes ratings go through the roof when we do that. So I go, well, let's bring him back, man. We need.
He's a self-proclaimed sexy beast, as he says in his intro on my videos or on my show here. So
yeah, and I mean, and I found out he does porno. He confessed that one night. So I'm like, okay, there's all kinds of things
that happened. That happened. We were filming with Birch Park Media, actually one of my first Happy Camper videos, and we're doing layering system in the cold. And Scott Adams from Birch Park, and so he's got the camera. We're out in this park, and he goes, delayer just to your underwear. And I went, I'm not doing that. We're in a public park. He goes, oh, nobody will see us. People come up the hill, and they see us filming. I'm half naked, and the husband says, don't look, honey. They're shooting a porno. And I said, no, we're shooting the Happy Camper.
Why does this remind? Could they tell you were happy by the underwear or what?
I also know is they now think there's a porno called the Happy Camper.
You know, it reminds me of a song by Ray Stevens, The Streak. You know, just kind of comes to mind there for a second.
And they call him The Streak.
Yeah, honey, don't look it. Don't look back.
That
hey, did
awesome.
you do
Well, I'll be sure next time that you have Kevin on your show, CW, I will not be there. Yeah.
I think the next time we have him on the show, we should maybe encourage him to wear that hat with some snowy white BVDs. You know,
I was thinking more like a baby diaper and a rattle.
Baby diaper. Because we all know wood is in his genes, right?
What is it?
Oh man. And Hap Wilson's trying to get on and he can't, and he thinks that I have something to do with it, and I probably do. And he's saying that I learned everything from him. So yeah, don't have him on. Just make sure he doesn't get on.
Are you doing some kind of voodoo trick over there, Kev, with his computer?
Yes, it's my magic hat.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'll tell you something. I had a video of you in the room at that night in Michigan, but I don't know what happened to it. I couldn't find it, but it was something about knock the monkey off my shoulder. And it was like the bottle of monkey butt or monkey shoulder, whatever it was. But yeah, I would love to have found that because Darlene Patterson was there. My cameraman was there. Cliff was there. And I think it was Darlene's sister as well. But it was a fun time. It was really fun. It was all fun until Kevin got naked and started dancing on the bed. And then we had to kind of call it quits because security came. And then there was that TV out the window thing. And we can't even talk about that because tickets were issued, you know.
Jealousy will get you nowhere, CW. Just let you know.
I see Hap in the chat there. Hopefully he'll be able to get in here soon. Hap is actually supposed to be next up on slate, but we'll probably skip over to our next guest. CW, you know what? Fantastic job, man. You know what? We know there's much love between you and Kevin Callan. We'll keep that for the Backcountry Bush Chronicles, but yeah, we won't get into that.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me here to be part of tonight's celebration. I really appreciate it, Dennis.
Time for a selfless plug. Where can people watch you and hear you?
You can watch us on YouTube channel C.W.Goetz Outdoors, and that is the camping show. And then you can find me on Facebook, C.W.Goetz Outdoors, as well as Instagram, C.W.Goetz Outdoors. Thank you.
Well, CW, thanks very much. Good luck with that vasectomy you're going for tomorrow, and we'll talk to you a little bit later.
I appreciate it.
And CW, next time you need someone on because everybody cancels on you, I'm good. I'm good.
I love it. You guys, love y'all, man. Take care.
Cheers, C.W. Thank you much. Wow, that was good. You really know who your friends are, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I got a whole basement full of people who say they love you or who you think love you. But
I should never have answered your email.
well, you know what? Because Hap might be having some difficulties. I see him in the chat there, but he's not in the basement yet. Maybe I'll have to resend him the link. But I will do that there while we have our next guest up. Our next guest, or our next roaster, is a long, close friend of Kevin. He's been on many backcountry excursions with Mr. Callan, and he keeps Kevin in check, really. I believe this guy has taught Kevin everything he knows about camping, and he's the real inspiration behind all of Kevin's books, right? Please welcome the real author of Once Around Algonquin Park, Mr. Andy Baxter. Andy!
Good day. Good day, everyone. Hello.
How's Andy doing, man?
I'm well for, an old fella, and especially someone who survived a few trips with that fella.
Yeah, well, what's with that? Like, why do you canoe with this guy? Is it you feel sorry for him? You just like I say, keep him motivated, keep him moving.
Well, that's a very, very good question because sometimes I'm thinking, do I do it just to keep him off the street from bothering other people? Or is there some greater purpose? But you have to take the good with the bad with Kevin, is from what I've learned over time here. So, yeah. And in fact, I was always thinking, it's a roast. You kind of expect people to come on and say all sorts of maybe nasty things about the poor person being roasted. And that's not very nice at all, is it? So I thought I'm gonna take the higher road. I'm gonna, I'm gonna praise Kevin, praise all of his good qualities because he's overflowing with them, and then his genes are overflowing with him from what I learned from the last speaker there. So, but yeah, for instance, cooking. Kevin is a fabulous cook, and you go on a canoe trip with him, and he's got these delicious recipes. It's got spices that come from all over the world. He's got crushed nuts or crushed this or that, and he's like preparing, and it's quite a meal, and it's delicious. And I've just learned to love all those great meals that Kevin brings forth on the canoe trip. It's just like, where did that come from? It's magic, and then you go on our winter canoe or our winter camping treks, and we slogged all day, and we get the tent set up. It's nice and hot, and he gets the the pot ready to make a stew or something delicious, and so he gets that going. It's a bit of a mystery, and then he goes, oh yeah, I got one more thing, and he pulls out salad. Salad that's traveled all through the winter, and it's like, and then he looks a little surprised, like, why does the salad not as crispy and inviting as it usually is, after being frozen solid for how long, I don't know. But so you learn to take those good points with, Kevin's got a couple of things he's still learning as he goes, but and filming, like he's filming, he's like so gifted filming, and you see all his videos, and even editing all that stuff together is like, it's magical. He's got quite the talent, right? And anyone who's seen any of his material will certainly attest to that. And so we'd be out there filming, and then all of a sudden I realize, wait a minute, he's been filming for the last 4 hours, and I'm the only one paddling. He gets out of paddling by filming. Oh, I'm filming, Andy. Don't keep going. Let's go over that way now. You know. Oh yeah, this is a good view. Yeah. So but that's the thing. He's got all those skills and assets, and then you realize he's just like he's got you. But oh well. Anyway, he's I mean, trip planning is one of his great features. Also, he plans the trip. Hey, who's coming? And fires out the list. Here, you bring this. I'm gonna bring that. You guys bring that other stuff, and then the next thing um, we're out there on the trip, and like we're having a great time, and it's like, okay, we're finally into it, and it's meal time. So who's got the pots? And like, what? There's no pots. Okay, how are we going to? One trip it's pots, another trip it's utensils. I finally no, that's it. I'm making a list. Say whatever the heck you want. Here's the list, and you bring it or not. I'm just bringing all the stuff because you always go, oh, what happened? I didn't know.
Wow.
It's true. It's true.
Andy, you're the guy with recreational barrel works. Like, shouldn't you just have prepackaged, pre-filled barrels, just so that you don't have to rely on Mr. Callan over here?
I've learned that's it's like, oh sure, Kevin, you bring all that stuff, and I'll bring the things that you told me to on the list, plus everything else, and everything that was on your list too, Kevin, because I can't depend on that. But, so
I'm pretty sure my pack was heavier on the meanest link than yours, Andy. Was it?
Oh, I think you're absolutely right, and that's a very good segue into your destination planning skills. The first trip we went on together was on the Nabaquazi route as part of the Lost Canoe Routes research Kevin was doing, and we'd never tripped before, and that was we drove up to go Gamma, and we got out there on the trip, and I'm like, I don't know, this guy, he doesn't know me, and so it was a great trip. At the end of it, he's like, holy crap, this guy might know which end of the hatchet to hold, and I'm like, yeah, it's nice to be out there with someone who's got some skills, and that was good. But so that was a great start. But I think it kind of lulled me into a sense of false security. Oh yeah, let's go to Quetico next, or Killarney, or and I'm doing some book things, and okay, whatever, and and then the next thing oh, there's something called the meanest link. I'm like, what? Meanest link? But no, don't worry, Andy. It's in Algonquin Park. Oh, okay, Algonquin Park. It's well maintained, easy peasy paddling, nothing like the bushwhacking that we've done in the past. Okay, let's go. And then like day one, we arrive, and I'm like, wait a minute, this map, takes us outside of the park down to Huntsville, and then do you see how long this upstream section is on the Big East River? Kevin's like, nah, it's great. People do this all the time. Don't worry, Andy. So yeah, 2.5 days later, going up the Big East, Kevin's like, hey Dad, I can't take it anymore. And I'm like, it's okay, Kevin. We can make it. We're almost there. Chin up. It's okay. That's all right. We'll just sit here right in the river and soak our worries away, but we'll make it. So yeah, he lost his trip planning privileges for I don't know how many years after that. The meanest link, I renamed it the meanest hoax. So
was that the favorite book you wrote for Kevin?
Yeah, I later on he's like, I wrote up a book on that, and I'm like, well, I thought you liked to entertain people. That was like that story hurts, but there was a lot of portaging and yeah, both in quantity and distance, and but it was good. My knee surgery worked out well after that, and I was able to carry on pretty much.
He did. It's true. He had knee surgery after that trip.
Really?
Yeah.
Brought on by the trip? Hopefully not.
Well, it's either that or playing goalie, and one or the other, or perhaps the combination. But anyway, it was that's some of the things. He's a good trip planner, but every once in a while that there's a dud thrown in there, so you got to watch out. And then he's smart. He's smart though. Like I mentioned, the long portages, right? We'll come up to a long portage. All the gear fires out of the boat, and we're getting ready, and he's like, "Hey, I need some video and some photos. So you just start, and here, you get the pack on and the canoe on, and we'll just get some photos here, and then that'll be great, okay?" "Oh, okay, Kevin, that sounds good." And then so like halfway down, "Yeah, keep going, Andy. This is good stuff. Keep going." And I'm seeing the lake come into view on the other side, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, he's done it again."
So you're part pack mule.
Certainly the brain part, anyways. But
Andy, tell him how I love rapids.
Kevin is like one of those whitewater demons, right? He just loves it. He can't get enough. He hears that little tinkle of the water, and it's like, oh yeah, where the hell's the portage? We gotta get off now. So we were on the meanest link too. One of the, I was like dead tired. We come around the corner, and there's a portage sign, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm in the back. Kevin's like, paddling like mad to get over to the portage. I was like, okay, we got to get to the portage, and we pull all the gear up, stand up, and look, and it's like a class -1, Swift. It's like there's people paddling up it, and Kevin's like, "Oh no, we got a portage, and it's white water." So, I don't know. I try to talk him in, into taking a lesson or something like it, but he's.
But I saved you from that beaver attacking us in Quetico.
Oh my goodness! I got a feeling this is going to be a good one.
I was trying to think of her name, but then I realized no, it was we were actually, I think it was on Quetico Lake, paddling very quietly, paddling the shore to check out. There's a number of Indian rock paintings, pictographs along the shore, and so we'd seen the first couple, and then we were just gliding along. It was a calm day, and right close to the shore, and then we're looking for the next pictograph, and we just round this corner, and all of a sudden there's this mad scramble on the rocks above us, and we're like, what the heck's going on? And then there's rocks falling in the water, almost in the canoe, and all of a sudden this beaver comes tumbling down the cliff face and lands in the canoe, and he's hissing at Kevin. I'm like, yeah, take him first. I got a bigger family. Take him. And Kevin's like with the paddle, and then the beaver like over the side, and I'm like, what on earth was that? And the poor beaver scared the life out of him, and then he almost like killed us in the process of trying to escape back into the water. But yeah, Kevin rescued us that day. That's a measure of his courage, which is another one of those things that Kevin has. He's so courageous. He's like, I'm doing this book. I gotta go meet these people, and like, we gotta go. And he paddles up to where they live remotely on this lake, and there's this big sign right there at the entrance that says absolutely no trespassing. And Kevin's like, oh, well, what's the worst that can happen? And I'm like, well, I hear banjos, so I'm not sure, but it might not end well. And so off we go up the trail, and it's like we're getting deeper and deeper into the woods, and I'm like, this is not a good idea. But we've come this far now. We go up. Kevin knocks on the door. This remote cabin, woods all around. The door opens. Hello. I'm Kevin Callan. And next thing you know, oh, come on in, and they're serving him tea. I'm counting the bullet holes in the no trespassing sign, and he's getting tea served to him. So, I got to hand it to him. He's got courage to, follow through on those things that he's determined on. Isn't that true?
It's true.
Anyway,
Kevin, do you need to change your diaper yet?
Oh man, actually, Andy has saved my butt so many times out there. I always said that he's the real happy camper. I'm just a fool, and I learned from him, to be quite honest. He's very talented tripper, knows a lot. He helped me out with taking my child out because he had kids before me. Except you terrified me with the circumcision thing. Oh yeah, so we can't talk about that.
Well, as long as you didn't by yourself, that's okay.
No. We won't get into that. Sorry, Andy.
So Andy, you've been on many adventure with Kevin. I'm sure there's been some real heartfelt moments that have been shared at one time or another. What's your most heartfelt moment that you've ever experienced with Kevin?
Well, it's there's been a number of them. So, my hesitation is really trying to pick, one of the top ones. We've been there for each other through various tough times, and helped each other. I remember, talking to him about, when my dad passed away, and him, going through the same thing actually before, my dad passed away, his dad passed away. So, those going into our family memories, and actually being able to share that stuff that's really close to your heart with somebody who's going to take it seriously, and not, not make light of that. So, and that's the kind of an odd thing with Kevin and I, because we're out in the bush, not taking ourselves serious for 1 minute, and always goofing it up and laughing it up. But when it's something close to the bone, we both kind of sense that from each other, and support each other, and that's kind of nice to have a friend like that, and someone who you can share things like that. And it's, people often ask me, like, Kevin Callan's so high energy. Is he like always like that? And the answer is, well, it takes about 3 days, and then he comes down a notch. But yeah, he's a high energy fella. It's always positive, and it's always directed at, good things like getting the youth involved in paddling, or new newcomers to the sport out into to appreciate the wilderness, and you really get that knowledge that his heart is in the right place when you see the way he behaves, as opposed to he's not just talk, he's walking that walk. So anyway, it's a pleasure and an honor to know you, sir, and I hope that the rest of my colleagues here on the abuse panel are a little gentler.
Well, I'm just so glad that you introduced me to how you sleep. We did the Navaquazy, but then we also, the second trip we did was a 28-day trip in Quetico when I was working on a book there. And I still didn't really know you that well. And we're in the same tent together, and you sleep naked. You're a naked sleeper. And it was a heat wave, and you're on top of the sleeping bag completely naked. And I said, hey, buddy, that's not happening.
You see, and the truth of the matter is, I don't sleep naked. I sleep in the sleeping bag, and that's all part of Kevin's imagination. I think he wants that, so.
That's what happens when you start dreaming back in the bush, eh? Dreams become realities.
Well,
okay, but Andy, the next time a grouse attacks you in Quetico, I'm not helping you out.
That's awesome.
That was a scary looking grouse.
I've never seen you run out of the bush so fast in my life.
Well, I do want to. I found some apple juice that I would love to toast you with, sir, and may you paddle on for many, many years to come. And just maybe not so much with me if I can, avoid that. So, cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
And thank you, Andy. You know what? Please do, everybody on YouTube, in the YouTube world, one huge favor, and continue to be in Kevin's videos so that there's at least some sort of entertainment value. Gives us a reason to want to watch. Thanks, Andy. You have yourself a great night.
Good night. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you got my dog's toy there. Oh, Kevin, it's always a pleasure when you have Andy in your videos, because, like I say, he really does add entertainment value to it. As if what you put across to everybody's not entertaining enough, but when you got, as somebody had said in the chat there, the Abbott and Costello of the paddling world here, by all means, please do not give up your friendship with that man. That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I'm going to get on to our next roaster of the evening. Just want to remind everybody of the commemorative Kevin Callan Celebrity Birthday Roast decals that are available for $10. The ticker's going across the bottom there, and I keep posting it once in a while in the chat there. Please click on it. Spend $10. Help out Project Canoe. And you know what? Get a couple of really, really, really cool decals. Here's a quick little shot for those of you that might be new. But those are the decals there that we have commemorating tonight's festive evening. And as a bonus, you get one of these one of those bad boys as well. So it's all will all come for $10, shipping included. Let's move on with our next roaster. Our next roaster is another podcaster. We've already had one podcaster on the show, right? But our next one's another podcaster, and there's a good reason why he's a podcaster, and that's because he really, really, really does not have a face for television, okay, or YouTube or anything like that. And just to prove it, he hides it, and ladies, don't get too excited over it, but he hides it behind a huge 16-inch beard, right? So, you know what? He's from Paddling Adventures Radio. Please welcome to the live stream our good friend, Sean Rowley. Sean, how you doing tonight?
My mama says I'm gorgeous.
I'm still waiting for you to part it and flip it up over.
It's going to be there one day, buddy.
I know.
Got the haircut going there. Getting shorter every year. I've saved a ton of cash by buying my own clippers and having my wife do my hair now.
Yeah.
As to go sitting there for $20 a clip.
You know, I was doing a little bit of searching when I was working on the intro for tonight's intro video, right? And the part where I got everybody's faces coming in, right? And I come across a picture of, I believe it was you. It looked like you on Google, on a Google search. And you had about the same amount I got here. And I didn't recognize you, dude.
I had that for years.
Yeah.
You know, I just had a little. It actually went down as a little triangle sort of thing at one point.
Oh, okay. So
And
that's
then,
a club look, right?
Yeah, we were going to Iceland, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to let it go. And that's about the same time we started the podcast, and it's just been going ever since.
There you go. Well, you're certainly a recognizable icon when you go to any outdoor adventure show or symposium or anything like that, because all you got to do is look for the walking beard, right?
It takes all the stress and everything off of my co-host Derek.
There you go. There you go. I see Derek in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
A little too chicken to show up. You know, maybe he's got another one of them faces for radio.
He probably does.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you asked me to come on here and talk about Kevin, I actually called my mom and said I'm going to be doing this Kevin Callan roast, and she says, remember, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So it's going to be a long 10 minutes of silence.
Oh, sorry. Here.
So many moons ago, must be close to 6 years now, when Derek and myself started the podcast, Kevin was actually on our very first episode. We were young, we were naive, and we're thinking, wow, we got Kevin Callan. Author, YouTube guy, like, awesome. Then we were seeing him everywhere. We'd go to shows, he was there. Turn on TV, he's doing stuff about camping and canoeing, the radio, YouTube. We realized we're never going to get rid of him now. He's like the gift that keeps on giving, and we just can't give him back. The next time we saw Kevin after that first episode, we went down, we made the drive down to the Quiet Adventure Symposium. It was a Quiet Water Symposium in Michigan at the time. Came up to his table and we said hello, and he looks at us like a deer in the headlights. Like, who are these guys? And his excuse after he realized who we were is like, you know, I meet so many people. I can't really keep track of everybody all the time, so, you know, I'm sorry and all that. And we're thinking, no, dude, you're old. Your memory's going. They call you Uncle Kevin? They should be Grandpa Kevin. Starts getting old, eh, Gramps?
After all,
I was told I get to do this. So. Couple years later, Kevin decides, I said, Kev, how are you getting down there? Well, I fly. Wow, there's an intro if I ever heard one. Kevin, we're driving down. I mean, it's only 5 hours. It costs a tank of gas there and back. Let's go to town. He sends me a message. Okay, you know what? When do I need to be at your place? And who's all going? That sort of deal. Not a problem. We got our mobile studio in the back. We'll throw that in the back. We'll throw your stuff in the back. Off we go. When he got in the truck and I said, sit down, strap in, hold on, and shut up, he should have taken that as his clue. It's going to be a long drive. But he didn't. There was even talk of seeing if we could get him detained at the border for a full cavity search. Think there was talk about pink handcuffs. The second day of the symposium, okay, you know what? We picked on Kevin enough. It's Kevin Callan Day. We're going through McDonald's. He comes out, jumps in. I said, Kevin, it's Kevin Callan Day. I had hooked my phone up to my radio on my truck, and we're pumping John Denver. It's Kevin Callan. That's the man. We're pumping it. We're singing. We're hooting and hollering. And as we're driving out of McDonald's, there's a little strip mall across the road from us. And there's like a dozen turkeys walking by. Boom, boom. Across we go. Pull up to the turkeys. Kevin rolls down his windows, sticks his head out, starts gobbling at the turkeys, doing his big gobble, 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 gobble. The turkeys answer back. Kevin Callan apparently can speak fluent turkey.
True story.
True story. And I do believe Kevin has a video on his YouTube channel of that symposium and of those turkeys.
True story.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin Callan, as we all know, loves his whiskey. There's more whiskey at the bottom of Kevin's barrel than there is on the distillery floor. All we hear about is how he accidentally spilled his whiskey. Now, I'm thinking that it's not really an accident, because I've heard rumors that at night, when it's nice and quiet, people hear a noise coming out of Kevin's tent. And apparently it sounds like Kevin's sucking on the towel that he used to mop up the whiskey. It is just his ploy to not share his whiskey. You're busted, Callan. I know it. Come on. Feel free to admit it. Now, I've never actually been on a canoe trip with Kevin, and it's not because our schedules have never matched up. It's because he tends to go canoe tripping with a naked guy named Speedo Man, a guy that makes barrels and sleeps naked, and a puppet. Now, I'm not a conservative type guy, but there's, I've done things, but there's a time, Kevin, where I just draw the line. There was experimenting in college, but you're way past college, my friend. Now, let's talk about my favorite one, and you knew this one was coming, Kevin. Killarney Provincial Park.
No.
This was coming back to haunt you one way or the other. So, gonna need a drink for this one. Just get that one.
Hold it. Another moment of silence.
So Kevin has a book called The Paddler's Guide to Killarney and the French River. 30 years. Well done, Kevin. Kevin decided on the 30th anniversary of this book that he's going to go out and he's going to do a nice little solo trip to Killarney in order to celebrate. 30 years, wrote this book, boom, boom, awesome. Let's go out there. And it just so happens, look at that. So it just so happens that my wife and I decided we were going to go up for the day. Oh, look at that guy, eh? Wow, such a young pup. Such a young pup. Your hair wasn't even white there. Now it would just blend in with the black and white. So my wife and I decided, you know what? We're going to go up for the day to Killarney because she'd never been, and I wanted to show her something other than Algonquin Park. And she's newer to the canoe tripping, so it was a day to go out and practice portaging the canoe and stuff like that. So let's go up to Killarney. We'll see it. We'll do some practice for her. So we put in at George Lake, and then we paddle, do the portage over to Freeland Lake, and then into Killarney Lake. And when we get there, paddling down the lake, we're heading towards OSA Lake. And there's this campsite on our left. Oh, look at that guy. Whatever happened to that guy? He used to be so studly then. Oh, a ferret. He keeps ferrets in his pants. So to our left is this campsite. And there's this little old gentleman sitting there in his chair. I'm thinking, man, that guy's got the same canoe as Kevin Callan does. But I know Kevin's far in because, he's doing this trip. So I give a little friendly wave. The old guy waves back, and, we're continuing on our way. I'm telling my wife about the hills and the quartz and all that sort of stuff. And, the crack is up that way, and, all these little highlights of what Killarney has to offer. We go into OSA Lake and have some swimming and lunch and all that, paddle around. And we come back, and the little old guy's back there as we're passing by, but he's back in the back of his site there, and he's just hunched over and he's hobbling. And I'm thinking he had to be at least 90, 95, somewhere in there. I was just going to give him a little wave again, but he wasn't looking. So off we go. Little do I know, that little 90-year-old man happened to be one Kevin Callan. Kevin Callan was not far out where he was supposed to be. Being of advanced years, Kevin hurt his back. So he had to go to the one spot and just hunker down, figure, he's going to make the best of it. And the story gets told later when I find out who it was. He says, I know that was you on the lake that waved, because he knows my voice from anywhere. Now, Kevin's been on our show a few times. So, like I say, he heard me explaining stuff to my wife, saying this is what this is, that's where that is, and all that sort of stuff, and waving and stuff like that. So he knew it was me. And he had thought about calling me over to help him out. But he knew that what I'm saying now would be on our podcast. So he put up with his pain. He sat and relaxed and figured, I am not giving Sean the opportunity. But see, Kevin thinks that I would have gone on the podcast and said, Kevin Callan, this 30-year-old almighty canoe tripper, I had to help him out of Killarney Park. It was awesome. He'll never live it down. But what Kevin doesn't realize is that's not how it would have went. We were up there for a purpose, and that purpose was to get my wife, who was new to canoe tripping, some practice. So the actual headline would have been, Canoe Newbie portages all Kevin Callan's gear out of the park and helps Kevin Callan out of the park, paddles Kevin Callan up. We would have made this the best rescue in history. So what you... You would not have lived it down. You thought what you thought was going to be said was mild compared to what would have actually been said.
Oh no, Sean! I couldn't move. My back went white. Anybody that has back issues, I was done. I couldn't move, and I was going to push my spot to have a emergency lift out. But I had meds with me, and I go, no, and I heard your voice. And you're right. I said to myself, there's no bloody way in hell Sean Rowley is rescuing Kevin Callan at a Killarney Park during his anniversary of 30 years. There's no way that's happening.
That would have become, I would have made a special commercial on our podcast, and it would still be running to this day. Paddling Adventures Radio, brought to you by Sean Rowley, the guy that hauled Kevin Callan's butt out of Killarney Park on his 30th anniversary.
You know what I did instead? The next day, Sean, I got up and I was heavily medicated, and I dragged my boat across the I only had one portage left. Well, two.
Yeah.
Killarney to with that pond, whatever. But I dragged it across, went across, and I dragged my pack across. I never lifted anything. I did it before light so nobody would see me.
You know who carries this stuff now?
Well, yeah,
Andy Baxter.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. Yeah, Kevin, we've never actually been. Well, we paddled together when I was doing the Trent Severn. You came out for that day. And I thought we had a pretty good time out there, and yeah, I think sometime we ought to do a canoe trip together. So that the next time we roast you, I've got even more ammunition.
Well, I felt like I would before the show, but now there's no bloody way, Sean.
Sean, you do realize that Kevin is Canadian canoeing royalty, and you will have to carry his gear, right? It's a rite of passage.
Well,
get your article after all.
There are monarchists and there's non-monarchists. When it comes to Kevin Callanists, Yeah, I wouldn't be a Kevin Callanist at that point. He can carry his own stuff.
You and I have a really good idea we should do, though. Remember, like, because of COVID, I'll change it. But you had this idea that was really great.
End of June.
Every single Great Lake in one day in 24 hours.
Can
Not
do
the
it.
whole lake, just to put the canoe in the water.
Yeah, every single lake. So we'll start Lake Ontario, downtown Toronto at like 2 in the morning. And it's possible in a 24-hour period to hit all 5 Great Lakes in one day. End of June.
You won't do it.
You can't
You won't
go
be
out
able to do it.
Oh,
Yeah, we can.
No, you won't, because Kevin will have his camera in your face all the time, and it'll be interrupting everything you're trying to do to get there.
Yes.
As long as he's got pants on, I'm okay with that. He's not wearing pants right now. We all know it. Well, Kevin, happy, what'd you say? Was it 78th or 95th?
78th birthday to Mr. Kevin Callan.
Cheers to you, Kevin. Have a good one. Hope to see you out on the water, and hope to see you maybe driving down to the canoe symposium next year.
In the States?
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing any state shows. I am doing Canadian shows. I've already said no. I'm doing virtual ones, but I'm not going. I teach students, and they don't want me to go anywhere and bring something back. So
a couple of years then.
And also because I know if you're going, I'm not going.
Everybody else is. You'll be the only one not there.
Well, they'll miss me even more so then.
Happy birthday, Kevin.
Sean, really quickly before you do take off, give yourself a selfless plug. Let everybody know where they can hear you.
Paddling Adventures Radio. Join us every Thursday morning. We release a weekly podcast. My co-host Derek Specht and myself. You can find us at paddlingadventuresradio.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that sort of stuff. And anywhere you download podcasts, you'll find us there.
Excellent. Sean, thanks very much for joining tonight. You made our day.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one, sir.
Take it easy. See you, Kevin.
Wow, man. Just keeps getting better and better.
Dennis, you're going to have to control the show for like 3 minutes. My dog has the poops.
Oh, no. You know what?
Tonight.
That's fine, because I could get in a quick little commercial break here right now for our sponsor.
Okay, he's at the door holding her back end.
We'll see you in 1 minute. You know what? Hopefully everybody's having a great evening tonight. You know what? Very worthy of all the compliments we're giving him. No, I don't think so. Anyways, just want to get out of the way here. Well, not out of the way because it is a commitment, but our good friends over at Algonquin Outfitters are celebrating their 60th anniversary. They have a contest going on which closes tonight at midnight. If you haven't entered, get on and get yourself entered. You'll find the link in the description of the video down here. Just go there, click it. It's a question and answer thing. All the answers are right on their webpage or on their website. So it's very easy to find. Get as many questions right as you can. I think each correct answer is a ballot for you. And it's a great way to get yourself entered. You can't win if you don't have a ticket. So by all means, check out Algonquin Outfitters and their contests that they have going on. And with that being said, let's get their commercial in here. Yes, sir. As I mentioned, celebrating 60 years. Once again, we are going to get going on here with the roast. Kevin's not back from, I think, pooper scooping right now. He's a true master to his dog. I do see that one of our guests who was supposed to be on a little earlier is in the basement. Hap Wilson, we'll have you up right after Mr. Foley, Hap. So sit tight, enjoy yourself a nice scotch, and we will get the ball rolling. Just want to say that there's been some really good comments coming in the chat there. Thanks very much. You know what? If any of you have any little stories that you'd like to share with everybody, by all means, pop it in the chat over there. Converse amongst yourselves. Once again, remember, we do have these wonderful commemorative decals with Mr. Callan's mug on it. It's a great way to support Project Canoe because all profits will be going directly to them. We have until Christmas time. These will be available until. And by buying one of these for $10, you're also going to get this thrown in. That's going to be a 2-pack of decals that actually go really, really nice. And they go really nice on a water bottle or anything like that there. They're machine washable, so you could throw them in the dishwasher, and they're going to last you quite a long time. You can put these on your food barrels. You could put them on your water bottles. You could put them on the bumper. You could put it on your grandma's forehead if you like, if she's got a smooth forehead still. But yeah, with that being said, please do go check it out. I will get the link back on the screen here once again. And I think our guest of honor has just returned. So let's see what's going on. He's wiping his brow, and you're not sweating because you took the dog out. You're sweating because you can't handle the pressure tonight.
I actually, so it's almost like being on CBC radio. Like, I'm used to doing live radio a lot, and you got like 30 seconds. You can do a lot of things in 30 seconds, but the dog doesn't know it has to poop in 30 seconds.
So, Kevin, how's the heart rate tonight? Is the blood pressure okay so far?
I actually, you know what? I bought one of those blood pressure things.
Yeah.
To test myself at home, and I'm good.
So I have to ask, when you were younger, did you enjoy that show, The Muppets? Remember The Muppets?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially the two guys in the balcony.
Yeah. Well, I figured that you must have really liked Gonzo because you still hang around with a guy that really resembles Gonzo, right? Some guys call him, or you call him what, Gandalf?
Oh no!
Please welcome to the live stream, Tim Foley. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Dennis. Thanks for having me on.
By all means, get you guys all shuffled around so the two guest of honors are up on the screen.
You shall not enter.
So I understand you go back quite a long ways with Kevin. He's always mooching gear off you and stuff like that. What can you tell us about him?
Well, he's notorious. He wants an axe, he wants a knife, and then he's sending them back to me. Can you please sharpen this? Can you please clean this up? I don't have time to do this stuff. I'm a celebrity. I really ought not to do this stuff myself. He's got me under a tight deadline to keep feeding him with his gear. I try and do everything I can for the guy, but what can you do? Hey, so Dennis, I heard that you told me earlier that Canoehound Adventures is actually celebrating its 87th show tonight.
Yes, this is number 87 for us right here. Yeah, 87th episode over 3 seasons.
Congrats, man. I mean, that's the great thing about YouTube channels. They don't get canceled for mediocrity.
I know. There you go, right?
Actually, Dennis, the last time I actually saw something like Canoehound Adventures, I wiped and then I flushed.
That's okay. That's okay. You know what? I get that every single day.
Actually, you know who's not here, Dennis, who I was hoping would be, is Ash McBride, our paddling partner, Ash McBride. I suspect he's probably working. He does work the late shift sometimes. So I'm going to just shout out to Ash. Hey, Ash, I hope you're watching this. Ash, when 2 people have sex, it's a twosome. When 3 people have sex, it's a threesome. And now I know why they call you handsome. But So Ash is English. He's an Englishman, and he's very proud of his English heritage. Hey, Ash, do you know why Jesus wasn't born in England? Because he couldn't find 3 wise men or a virgin.
Oh.
We had Mr. Andy Baxter on earlier. Andy Baxter is a proud Scot. He's Scottish heritage. He's always waving that Scottish flag. Hey, Andy, do you know how to keep a Scot from getting seasick over the side of a boat? Put a loonie between his teeth. Stunned silence. And Andy, the Scots invented hypnosis, chloroform, and the hypodermic syringe. Andy, wouldn't it just be easier to learn to talk to women?
Oh my God.
So, Mr. Callan on this evening, the guest of honor, of course. Mr. Callan turning the big 5'8" this year. That's you're kind of getting up there in years now, Kevin. I mean, Kevin's so old that his balls are starting to look like a tent that nobody knows how to fold up. Kevin's so old, his prostate is almost the size of his ego. Hey, Kevin, which sexual positions produce the ugliest kids? Oh, I thought your mom was going to be here so we could ask her. Kevin's Kevin's a canoe author, so he's really living the life of a starving artist. Kevin's so poor that instead of buying a bidet, he does handstands in the shower. Kevin's so poor that he goes to KFC and licks other people's fingers. Kevin's so poor that for Christmas, his mother cut a hole in his pants so he would have something to play with on Christmas Day. You know, if you buy one of Kevin's books on Amazon, the other suggested items for sale are a rope, a book of knots, and a step stool. Okay, I'll regale you with a camping story. So one time Kevin and Andy and myself were out camping, and we'd done all the chores and everything was done. So we had a nice we dram of whiskey on the go, and through a stroke of misfortune, a horsefly landed in each of our drinks. So I plucked mine out of my cup and kept on sipping. Andy harumphed and got up and dumped his out and poured himself another. Kevin picked out the horsefly from his drink and with his blood boiling was screaming at it. "Spit it out, you bastard! Spit it out!"
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm done. That's what I got. Thank you. Good night.
So I see you bought Kevin Callan's book of jokes, eh?
Oh. Honestly, I've never heard Tim like this in my life. He's the quietest, most deep philosophical person on a trip, and oh my God, you've never done those one-liners on a trip. We got to go out again.
Wow, yeah, that was not part of the prep plan that you send over. It was all cutlery and pots and pans. No one-liners. You have to add that to the list next time.
Oh my God.
You know, Kevin, Tim's been working on this for the last 2 years. In all reality, he's just been building and building and building. It's like pent up sexual tension, right? And he finally got a chance tonight to blow his load.
Oh my!
Well said, Dennis. Well said.
So Tim, in all reality, you know what? You canoe trip with Kevin quite a bit. You two obviously have a friendship going. What's the allure of hanging around with Kevin Callan?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, Kevin's a high energy, funny guy, but that's part of who he is. But he is, in all honesty, he is actually a very serious, deep dude with a lot of knowledge. He sometimes keeps that a little close to his chest, but he is a very, very knowledgeable person. So I think the connection goes to being in the outdoors and in nature and what that does for us as a species, as people, and as a species, as beings on this planet, what being in touch with that sort of stuff does for your psyche and your spirit. I think that's kind of what we connect on in all seriousness.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I asked that question, I was hoping you weren't going to say book sales because I was going to call you a liar.
Yeah, if I had to rely on Kevin's book sales, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd be in a rough spot.
That's all right. No, do you have a moment with Kevin that you would say was one of your favorite classical moments that you've ever experienced out in the bush with him? On a particular canoe trip, or it wouldn't happen like to be the piece of poop that he got right there a couple of weeks ago, would it? No.
Well, I didn't actually see that. That's what he says, right? I mean, he turns on the camera and he says these things. Whether they actually happened or not is maybe another matter. We'll trust him, though. We'll trust him. No, I kind of with Andy there. It's hard to pick out one, but I will say that whole thing about spilling whiskey, like that is a real thing. Like I can't count the number of trips where there's been spilled whiskey in barrels or packs or just sitting on his lap. I don't know what it is. I guess that's between him and his therapist, exactly what's going on there. But that is a real phenomena that happens like frequently, like more than you would think would happen. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, for something like whiskey and how much and I'm sure all of you really enjoy it. How the hell do you manage to spell a drop of that stuff? You think that stuff would be in an ironclad canister of some sort, right? And especially you, I'm sure you sell Nalgene bottles. It's probably one of the best things to keep it in, right?
Dennis, it's not a problem for anybody else on the trip, only for Kevin. So I don't know what that says.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Maybe he's too drunk to do the cap up tight. No.
It never gets into that sort of thing. No, he's stone cold sober and opening up the barrel for lunch, and then I smell whiskey. Like, oh, dude, again. And sure enough, yeah, he's done it again. That's the way it goes.
He's sober when that happens. It could actually get worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
No, it never. No, it doesn't get worse. No, but it's all he's been stone cold sober. Yeah, I don't know what that is. When he's packing, I guess. I suspect he's in a rush. He's got all these tips about packing and stuff and sends these lists, but I think he might be leaving it to the last minute and being a bit rushed. That's my theory. I mean, I don't exactly know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If he drank rum, you'd be able to put Christmas fruitcake in the bottom of the barrel. No problem there, soaking it up, right?
There you go. Now you're thinking.
Wow, Tim. Thanks very much, man. That was you were on fire. Everybody hit it in the chat there. You come up with some good things, and you know what? If you haven't got something bad to say, don't say it, right?
Well, that's it. Well, thank you, Dennis. You were a good sport. Everybody else was an excellent sport. Kevin, happy birthday, man. It's a pleasure. All the best. Keep going, man. Keep doing what you do. Cheers.
Tim, before you take off, really quickly, selfless plug. Where can people find you?
Well, you know what? We should plug Project Canoe. That's an important cause. I think getting people outdoors is a massively important cause, but let's plug Project Canoe. Yeah, you can hit just search of some gear you need. You'll end up on my site. I don't need to plug that, but check out Project Canoe. Highly worthwhile cause. Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much. Have a great evening. We'll see you in the green room after.
You too. Take care. Okay.
Yep. Wow.
And if you want to know why I go canoe tripping with him and winter camping, right there. That's why.
Yeah. Like I say, you know who your friends are.
Yeah.
Tonight you're learning who your friends aren't really, right? That's all right. Well, you know what? We do have another popular individual in the basement there. We will get him up on stage right now to continue with tonight's roast. Our next roaster has a leg up on most rap stars. When it comes to bling, no gold, no diamond covered dollar signs are hanging around his neck. This guy prefers to chain himself to bulldozers and trees for attention. Please welcome to the live stream, Mr. Hap Wilson.
Kevin, my friend. Hey, look what I'm drinking.
Oh, I got a bottle of myself somewhere.
Writer's
Toast, man.
I know.
You're catching up to me.
Your latest book. This is how you're drinking that?
Yeah. Well, no. You mean this one here?
Yeah.
Out of abandon. No, you talk about your selfless plug. No, hold it up. Go ahead, hold it up there.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for tonight.
Oh,
so
awesome. Congratulations on that. Yeah.
Hey.
So before you get going there, I have to say that in the paddling world in Canada, it's somebody that I've cut my teeth on. I won't say having grown up paddling with influences like the two guys above me over here, but you know what? That there was my paddling Bible, and I remember back in the day, Hap, when I had my Temagami Canoe Roots book, and it was my favorite book, and I told you about the tattoo I have that was based on your artwork. You didn't tattoo it, as you had stressed out. But I remember back reading your books, Hap, and then I come across these books by Kevin Callan. And I go, who the hell's this Kevin Callan guy? Is he like a Hap Wilson wannabe? And you know what? I think he was.
I told you, I taught Kevin everything he knows.
I know, right?
You won't admit it, but
so you and Kevin being, like I say, both, in my opinion, the crown princes of Canadian canoe paddling. You both are huge inspirations to many people. What can you tell us about Kevin?
Well, it's funny. You mentioned that here. I think we're the only real guidebook writers in Canada, really, that are prolific. Doing what we do. And sometimes it's a tough call. I remember years going back that we didn't get a lot of respect. There was a period where people thought we were capitalizing on these great canoe routes in not just Ontario but across Canada, places that I've been, and people didn't realize that hey, all my books have been focused on environmental reasons and conservation, and same with Kevin. he's got, like, silly as he is, he's got a serious side to him, and I can see it right now. Hold that for a while there, Kevin. No, you're losing it, man. You're losing it. Come on, I'm trying to be kind here. 2 guidebook writers in Canada sitting right here, and I have great pride in being a friend of Kevin's because he knows what it's like to be a guidebook writer and the work that's put into these projects, and and just working with good people and getting the opportunity to visit these precious places. So I'm going to toast you again, Kevin. Hats off, man. Inside every old man is a young man wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah. And actually, you have taught me a ton of things, Hap. And the swirl the coffee thing, all yours. That's yours, man.
Well, that was funny because that was in Madison. I was just, in between shows. I've been banned from that show, by the way. A few shows I've been banned in the U.S., especially when Trump got into power. I did a mock-up on on a picture with Trump with Putin in the back steering the canoe and Trump in the front, trying, and his paddle's way in the air and Putin saying, paddle harder, and then Trump's in the front saying, I'm trying, and that didn't go over well. I had half the audience walk out, and I think that was somewhere in Michigan. I think I was in Michigan. Anyway, I was in Madison at a show, and I just happened to peek in at Kevin's talk, and he was just there showing people how to swing the pot, the coffee pot, and he sees me in the back, and I think maybe he felt guilty or something. Oh yeah, there's Hap Wilson. Oh yeah, that's what he does. Yeah, that's what I learned that from him. Anyway, but no, I had a chuckle over that. But I think the only thing, and the funny thing is, we've never paddled together. I mean, we've kind of crossed paths on a lot of occasions at shows and different, different. I think pretty much just different shows that we've gone to and exhibitions and talks and things. So never had a chance to paddle with them. And after hearing some of the previous speakers, I don't think I ever want to paddle with them. So. I love canoeing too much to, but the only, I don't have a lot of stories to share about, spending time with Kevin outside of selling books and doing talks with people. I do remember a story where he ventured far afield. Remember, he left Peterborough for the first time in his life, and he went up to my territory in Temagami. This was during the blockades, 1980s, I think, when if you had a canoe on the roof of your car, they wouldn't serve you gas. And if you left your car parked overnight, you might not find tires in the morning, or they might be punctured, or you might have a skidder, waving its claws at the front of your vehicle and not letting you out of the parking lot. So Kevin ventured up to Temagami in the most dangerous of times. Kevin, I think you should relate that story. They thought you were a Hap Wilson.
It was classic. It was on the Montreal River, and it's true about the gas. The guy wouldn't serve me gas, and because he looked at my canoe and he goes, "We've run out." I had to get the Latchford and get gas there. But yeah, I went down the Montreal River, and I'm doing this portage actually through Matachewan. I think that was the
Matachewan. Yep.
And there was guys that had just illegally poached a black bear and took the gallbladders out to sell. And I was portaging past them, and I'm like, "Oh God, please don't say anything, Kevin. Like they'll kill you." And they like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm working on a guidebook, and I'm Kevin." No, I didn't say I was Kevin. I'm working on a guidebook, and my canoe is from Southern Ontario. And they're like, "Are you a Hap Wilson?" And I said, "I don't know who you're talking about." Because if I said it was Hap Wilson, I would have been dead.
Yeah, you would have been skinned. Your body parts would have been sold to the Chinese market.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord! The one guy in town, though, he was pretty cool. I went in to get a coffee going across the town, and it was kind of a weird place. But the guy goes, "What are you really doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm on this route because I used to work in forestry up there. That's what I did back in the early 80s, and I wanted to see the trees that I planted." And he took me to them. He drove me in his pickup truck, complete stranger, right? I got in his pickup truck. he took me to the trees. I looked at the trees. I went, I'm just a bloody farmer. That's all I was back then. I cut them and I planted them, and I just want to go home now. That's where I have.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, no stories. I can't even tell a joke about puppets or laying naked in the tent. I don't know any. I haven't shared that much time and space with Kevin. Maybe that's something in the future. What do you think?
No, can you tell people though what you did to harass me while we're traveling together? I mean, you almost got me arrested a couple times going across the border.
I don't remember. It's all a blur to me, Kevin. Sorry.
Talking about the knives that you have right beside the border person and laughing at me, thinking it's funny. It's not a funny story.
Actually, Hap, you're an enjoyer, or you're a lover of Scotch as well, are you not?
Yeah, we dip into the Scotch every once in a while. I got a lot of joint pain, and I'd prefer a good Scotch over ibuprofen or Tylenol. So I think, and it dulls the senses just enough to ease that discomfort. So, although I don't drink during a canoe trip, I on the occasion.
I was going to say, because I wouldn't want to canoe with Kevin either there, for risk of losing your Scotch, right? Yeah. He spills his and he'll go after yours.
Well, we were out, we actually did a cleanup, not a cleanup, it was a bit of a cleanup on the Cologne River in Quebec last month. In late October. It was kind of fun because we were putting in thunderboxes for Friends of the Des Moines River. And we had, I think, 3 bags, those little bags that you can put wine in. We had two like cheap wines and one really good wine in a barrel, and only the good wine broke open. It split open and it soaked everything in the barrel when we got to our first campsite. And we didn't want to waste the wine. And the trouble is I had just used that barrel for carrying mulch on a trail job that we had and didn't quite clean it out. So the good wine was mixed with mulch at the bottom of the barrel, but we ended up pouring out, trying to sift through it and not waste the wine, and we poured it into our cups, and we drank that. So talk about desperation. So
this is why Hap is a lot better at what he does than I am, because what he really did is spill his wine in the barrel, but he's making a better story about it.
Well, we had that on a copper mine too. We had one fellow broke the wine broke open in a pack boat. Pack boats have this, the metal frame and it's a skin boat basically. And the wine was floating around as bilge, but we didn't want to waste it, so we ended up salvaging what we could, scooping it out with our cups. So, but I mean, you're on a long canoe trip. That's gold, your Scotch and your wine, and there's not a lot of it, but you kind of nurse it every night just as a treat, for the hard work during the day, right, Kevin?
My Lord, you're making me thirsty, man.
That's all good. All good. Well, Hap, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for your patience in trying to get in. I think we had one person too many in at one point because this software only lets a certain amount of people in. But I'm glad you were able to make it in. A little better late than ever, right?
Yeah, and then Andrea says her birthday wishes to you, Kevin, and so do I, and we love you, and keep on the good work.
Well, there, and just to make you laugh, I also almost got arrested.
It says 1894.
Yeah, it was pretty old.
Oh, look at that.
Why are you wearing a cape?
I worked for Ontario Parks, and I did a thing called Dangerous Dan, and I worked for this paper at the time. It was 1985, I think, and I got a cop to arrest me as a joke because I was doing canoeing with beer in the pool at Brundage Creek Provincial Park, and I had over 1,000 people show up for it. They were laughing on Monday, and you'll laugh at this, Hap. The superintendent of the park said, "You're no longer working for Ontario Parks, Kevin." I said, "Why am I getting let go?" Because you were not wearing a proper uniform.
Yeah.
True story. So I'm just as much as rebel as you are, man.
I know you are. Yeah, and and you're still alive to talk about it. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd just like to say before I leave, you know, we're still trying to protect a lot of the wilderness areas, Temagami in particular. Anybody is interested in joining the struggle, you can check out earthroots.org and participate. We are waiting anxiously for the next election. As you know, a lot of conservation groups have their hands tied when it comes to protectionism and conservation of our beautiful places out there. So do your part, and everybody have a great winter and a safe winter. And we'll see you on the rivers next year.
Yes, sir. Once a
Kevin.
conservationalist, always a conservationalist. Thanks, Hap. Appreciate it. Good to see you, and much love to your lovely bride there. And we will talk soon. Stick around for the green room after.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, have a great evening.
We'll see you.
There you go. There you go. So that's from like one paddling icon, in my opinion, to another paddling icon. And you know what? Let's take it on to one other paddling icon. Our next roaster is the inventor of the canoe. In fact, he's been around so long, he used to give advice for camping to cavemen. Yeah. And in fact, between Kevin and this individual, their combined age is 138 years old. Oh, no, wait a second. Kevin just had a birthday. 139 years old. 139 years old. Yeah, please welcome to the roast, Mr. And where is he here, Mr. Cliff Jacobson. Cliff, how you doing?
Hey, guys. First, Kevin, happy 58th birthday. You know, I was 58 once.
Wow, that was around turn of the century, wasn't it?
And you know, it was fun seeing Hap on there too. And these guys were talking about Scotch. And I remember many years ago, I attended. There was a thing in Toronto. I don't remember what it was called. It was a big show in Toronto, and got together with Hap. And I really, really liked the guy. And he told me he loved Scotch and hot chocolate. So I come back home. I heard it was his birthday. I said, I'm going to send him a bottle of Scotch, but how am I going to get this thing through customs? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I wrapped it really, really well, you know, and I went up to the post office, and then they go through this thing, you know, liquid, fragile, hazardous, explosive, whatever. No, I just total lie. Doggone if I didn't get it through customs. And he actually got it. And that was one of my proudest moments. But, you know, everybody here before me, you know, they've been kind of roasting Kevin a bit. You know, I like Kevin a lot. He knows that. So I don't want to add to the roast. Maybe I just boil him a little bit. Okay, just a little boil. But first of all, I have to say, Kevin, I saw something earlier tonight on this program that was shocking. I was seriously shocked by this. You were there holding up a bottle of Redbreast Irish whiskey. Now, first of all, I know that Redbreast is pretty pricey here in the States. But from what Kevin has told me, it's a lot more pricey in Canada. So here he is. He's drinking Irish whiskey, the best Irish whiskey in the world. This is not his style. So I need to tell you that there it is right there. So I need to tell you this little story. Before this COVID thing shut down everything, we used to go to this wonderful show in Lansing, Michigan, the Quiet Adventure Symposium. It used to be called what? Quiet Sports or whatever. Anyway, and so Kevin knows I always bring the Scotch, and it's always really good Scotch. It's like Glenfiddich 12-year-old, or if I'm just feeling like I'm just a little bit low on budget this time, I'd maybe be Johnny Walker Black Label, but nothing below that. So we have this thing, you know, Kevin and I. He always shows up with a arguably terrible bottle of Scotch, and we all get together, and I got this big bottle of Scotch. I mean, we can drink this thing. This is for the whole weekend. I mean, he's my friend, and he knows I really like him, and he's coming from a foreign country to visit me. I want to make sure he has a really good time while he was here. Okay, I know this is expensive for him. Sometimes it's hard to get here. He gets here late. There's a snowstorm, whatever. So I want to make sure he has good food. I make him breakfast in the morning, okay, and good scotch. But no, he has to use this absolutely debatably terrible scotch. He pours himself a drink. Out of courtesy, I let him do that. Out of courtesy. But after that one's over, that scotch goes down the drain and he drinks my scotch. Right, Kev?
It's true. It's really true.
Is that like the secret story?
Oh, man.
You know, we've had so much fun over the years at these shows. One of the things that comes up every year at these shows with Kevin and I is Kevin came up with this idea. It was a great idea. And what Kevin wanted to do, he wanted to take a canoe and he wanted to paint the Canadian flag on one side and the American flag on the other side. And then what we were going to do is we're going to run this baby right down the border between Minnesota and Ontario, okay? Because we're both kind of ticked off at how each of our countries are making a big deal about this. So we were going to just go straight down that thing. And then we were going to camp one night in Canada, and then the next night in the US, and then the next night in Canada, and so on, waiting to see which country's custom agents would arrest us first. Okay. And that's about as far as we got, because you know what? I think that would probably happen, wouldn't it, Kim?
Yeah, I know, it was all planned. We were even going to stay at that one campsite where the marker for Canada, United States was actually at that falls at Basswood Lake. And we were going to have you sit in your camp chair in the United States, and me in Canada, we're going to argue back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, so, you know, such memories. It almost always snows at the Quiet Water Symposium in Lansing. And one day we're finishing up the snow. It's a virtual snowstorm out there. There's about 2 feet of snow out there. It's blowing bloody murder. It's the end of the show. And we want to get cleaned up fast because we want to get to the beer and dinner before everybody else. So I said, Kev, we're going to save some time here. Here's the keys to my car. I want you to go. I got a Subaru. He's got a Subaru. I said, I want you to go out there. Just here, go drive the car around, get it in here. We'll get out of here and we'll make it. So I got everything packed. Everything's packed up, and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm looking out there, and it's snowing and it's snowing. And what is going on? What's going on? Finally said, okay, I gotta find. I don't have my boots. I just put my shoes on. I go out there. Before as I'm starting to head out there, he comes in with this sheepish look on his face, and he hands me the keys, and he says, I couldn't figure out how to get it into reverse. I said, Kevin, it's a Subaru. You got a Subaru. Yeah, but yours is a stick shift. Now, I thought he was old enough to remember how to drive one of those cars.
I've owned a couple of stick shifts. I just couldn't drive your car. I don't know. I was a little nervous because if I
just got to lift that little thing under the shift to pick it into. But you know, I want to leave Kevin with probably one of our real happy times. This was, I don't know, quite a while ago. I was probably closer to 58 then. I don't know. He was just a kid. We decided we were going to do a show together at Canoehound. Now, we've never done anything together before, but we figured it would be really, really fun. And so it was like one of these deals where, you know, you're coming on a plane from Canada. Okay, so don't worry about bringing some. I'll bring the props. So I had a ton of props. And then we get up on stage here, and one guy shows up. He's got 2 boxer robes, you know, like the boxers wear, the robes with the names on the back. So he's got one, this Kevin, and the other one, Cliff. And we're supposed to put this baby on so that we can duke it out. So what happened was we had the largest attendance show in the history of Canoehound. How many did we have? Well, I think they said that room was maximum occupancy was, I think, 300, I think is what they told me. They had over 500 in there. They had them laying on the floor, sitting on the floor, standing up, one on top of all the way around. And then, you know, you always wind up with some of these people. There's always some people like this. Somebody picked up the phone and called the fire department. And they came and shut us down. You remember that, Kim?
Yep, they did. They actually did. Yeah.
They shut us down.
And you know, I think some people still think that we actually set that up.
But in all seriousness, I really like this guy. And it's always a pleasure to do a show with him. And I think that's one of the reasons why people like to see us together, because they know we really like and respect each other. And Kev's a fun guy. If I lived close to him, I think we'd be the bestest of friends. And I don't know, if I'm still alive in another 100 years, maybe we can run that canoe down the border and tell the world. But listen, my friend, the best to you. I mean it from the heart. I hope we can get together in a real show next time. And when we do, just remember, leave the rot gut sketch home. I'll take care of you, buddy, okay? I got to run, you guys.
Wow.
Thanks
Cliff,
so much.
Thanks very much, man. You know, I know you're when it comes to the camping world and you know, all that kind of stuff, you're a bit of a know-it-all. And you know what? That's greatly appreciated, because you know what? Somebody has to know something, because some of us don't know anything, right?
Let me just leave everybody with a thought here. And I think Kevin would totally agree with this. What happens is when you spend a lot of time in the bush and you come up against a lot of different obstacles, what you discover is that there are certain things that work a little bit, other things that work most of the time, and some things that work all the time. And when you go to places like the Boundary Waters Canoe Area, the Allagash in Maine, you know, you can be pretty sloppy and survive. Yeah, people have died there. But you try that stuff on the Northern Canadian River, where help is an airplane ride away, and they're going to be bringing you back in a box, okay? So the point is, you learn what works, and you stand by it. Now, some people call this being opinionated. I have a better name for it. I call it wisdom. And that wisdom is born from things that don't work. And I mean, some of the examples we fight with all the time is this ground cloth inside the tent thing. Well, the truth is, people who don't do that have never been in a severe enough rain long enough where they understand why I do that. And then when you get into the bear thing too, where you see all these pictures of bears climbing trees, running up trees in the Smoky Mountains National Park, they actually overwinter. They make nests in trees. Yet people put their food in a tree. Why? Well, bears don't climb trees, I guess. So anyway, Kevin, happy birthday. I hope I get to see you for real next time. And remember, buddy, I'll bring the scotch.
Okay. Could you just imagine him and I at a campfire together? It's like...
Oh, shit. Thank you, Cliff. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Keep the tent pad inside the tent. Have a good one, buddy.
Okay. Thanks, Cliff.
Wow. Always a pleasure to have Cliff on. He truly, you know, I poke fun at him about being a know-it-all. He is a very wise fella. He's been around the earth, you know, 81 times. Like I said, he gives advice to the cavemen back in the day. So that's a good thing. Kevin,
he's also he's taught me too. He's also helped out a lot of people in his career. Just a good of his heart, and he's so well known in the United States. You have to realize, for me to go in the United States, be on stage with him and making fun of him, it's like making fun of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and it's what he's very, yeah.
Well, before we get on to our next roaster, we've got what we got here. We've got 3 more roasters, and then the evening will be done. But I just wanted to put one more plug in for tonight's commemorative Kevin Callan Celebrity Birthday Roast decal, which is great for your water bottle, your lunchbox, your grandma's forehead. $10, and all profits are going to be going to Project Canoe. I've got the link going across the bottom of the screen. I'll also get it back in the chat again. I did take a quick sneak peek at my inbox, and I see quite a people have already purchased. Thank you very much. It makes this this whole roast worthwhile, because roasting this guy over here, whatever. Anyways, make sure you get your
Dennis, you notice what I'm wearing? I'm wearing a vest with fish on it, because I figure if Pine Martin was watching, that would be the only fish he would actually see this season.
Yeah, that's quite possible. He did send his regrets that he couldn't make it, because he had another thing that he had going on. But otherwise, I'm sure he would have tore you another hole in your shirt. Yeah. Alrighty. So moving on, our next roaster, he's lost his fair share of dogs, horses, and pickup trucks. So many, in fact, he changed his songwriting style to sing about canoe-related topics like blue bandanas, rocks and roots, portaging. What's a portage? All our American friends know what a portage is, right? Anyways, he enjoys surrounding himself with very talented musicians, like Kevin Callan on harmonica. No. If anybody's ever seen Kevin Callan play harmonica, it doesn't really work that well. As a matter of fact, I believe Kevin's a drummer, just like C.W.Goetz. Semi-professional, semi-successful. Oh, okay. Anyways, please welcome to the live stream country recording artist and songwriter, Mr. Jerry Vandiver. How you doing, Jerry?
Howdy. Kevin,
Jerry, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I just, is it not possible for Cliff to come up on any program and not say something about putting the liner inside the tent or talking about bears going up trees? It can't happen. He has to do it no matter where he is. Cliff, we love that. I hope you're still there.
Claim to fame right there, right?
Yeah. So Kevin, Kevin was a drummer in a band when you were in college, right, Kevin?
Well, he went beyond that. I still have a drum set. It's up in stairs. I kind of dust on it, whatever. But yes, I started in high school. I was actually, the first band I played in. I should never tell you this. It was a punk band, and its name was, sorry, but it's true, Santa's Syphilis. True story. It's a true story.
I didn't know that. I'm kind of glad I didn't know that until now, because I would not know how to introduce you sometime the next time we get up on stage. Here's the former drummer from Santa's Syphilis.
Yeah, I should never. I don't know why I told you that, but it's true story. It was a good band. I was it was all female. I was the only male.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We have a lot in common then, don't we?
Yeah, they chained me up on the drum just like the animal from the Muppets. It's actually
you had females chaining you up on the drum set.
They did.
That's a punk rock dream.
Yeah, and there's pictures of it in one of the yearbooks of my high school. There's a picture as well.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of our relationship, Dennis, is that whenever I've had the opportunity to get Kevin up on stage with me and my band, mostly of women, which is pretty similar then, is that Kevin's he's played a cowbell in a full cow suit with horns and an udder. I don't know how that's possible, but it happened. And then you were a dancing bear.
Yes.
And then you played the bear barrel bongos.
Yes, and I threw the drum set at the audience. Yep.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah, I was waiting for the lawsuits to happen after that one. And then you were the follow the bouncing loon. One time we were doing a sing along. You had the loon on your head, and I'm trying to remember some of the other things we've done. It's just been the
Rocks and Roots, I think, was classic.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, and I think the most embarrassing one was when your fiddler took the PFD off me.
Oh, that
I
was the best. That's right. He sang a duet with my fiddle player, and there's a line in the song that says, "You know that you're safe with me, and you can take off that PFD." And she reached over and unbuttoned his PFD just at the right time in the right place. It was
I never.
Classic moment.
I was.
You
so
can find
lucky.
it on YouTube. It's up there somewhere. I think it's. I don't know if it's on my channel, on your channel, but yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. I was beaten red.
That was. So was I.
The funny thing about that cow outfit that Kevin actually had on, I think that was the best piece of clothing he actually had with him, right?
Now see, I want to know how he got that across the border without getting inspected.
Well, I was fine with that, but seriously, like, it's a true story. The gorilla mask, or no,
the bear mask. Yeah.
It got me pulled off and searched going to the States, but on the way back, I got searched again. But it was in Madison, in a smaller airport. They found it funny, but on the way to Canoehound, it was brutal. Like I was bodily searched. I was, because of that bloody mask. You son of a.
Well, for good reason though, Kevin the punk beat Canoehound. I like that. So Kevin, rather than a story, I've got a song for you, brand new.
Whoa, this is awesome!
And maybe sometime we could do this live together. And by the way, that's the one thing, you mentioned the blues harmonica there, Dennis. That we were ready to play that 2 years ago at Canoehound, and then of course everything got canceled. We did get a little rehearsal though in Toronto about a month earlier, if I recall. I don't remember the name of it.
That was hilarious.
It was so much fun. What was the name of that place we hung out in?
It was a strip club.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the club. Camper Christina might remember the name of it.
Camper.
It was after the Toronto Outdoor Adventure Show. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So we got some rehearsal time in there, and then of course we couldn't do it, and then we.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's great.
It was Julie, I think, said put your hat back on, and now it's stuck. Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
Anyway, well, so then we were planning on doing it the next year, or no, we were going to try to do it virtually, but couldn't pull that off. And then I was kind of hoping that we were going to be able to do it this year at Canoehound, but that's not going to happen. So someday Kevin's going to be able to get up on stage with me and the band and play blues harmonica. And by the time that happens, he's going to be rocking it, I'm sure, because you've been practicing all the time. Is that not right?
I actually have.
Yeah.
Suck and blow, Kevin. Suck and blow.
I didn't say that.
Wait a minute.
So, Kevin, I already apologized to Kristine. I put Kristine in this song. So, Kristine, I hope you're listening backstage. Now we know he's not in it for the money. That couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. Well, personally, I find that really funny, that you could make a buck paddling a canoe. Kevin Callan drinks whiskey by the gallon, should be on Jimmy Fallon. It's hard to rhyme with Callan, but let's all raise our glasses to everyone's favorite happy camper, the one and only Kevin Callan. Now we all love the stories that he tells us, even if some have some exaggerations. But real or not, what he always gives us is 150 proof inspiration. Kevin Callan drinks whiskey by the gallon. Kristine says he's a stallion. That's a bad rhyme with Callan. But let's all raise our glasses to everyone's favorite happy camper. Happy birthday, Kevin Callan. Yes, happy birthday. We hope you have at least one more. Happy birthday, Kevin Callan.
Woo! Everybody, let's see some clap emojis over there in the chat. Yeah, by all means.
That was awesome.
Let's make a CD. We'll put it out as a single and see how it does on Canadian radio.
Thousands. We'll sell thousands, Jerry.
Yeah,
Jerry, you know the best part of that song? You didn't lose a dog, you didn't lose a horse, and you didn't lose your pickup truck.
I don't do country anymore. I made my money in country a long time ago. Now I get rid of that. I don't do that stuff anymore. Now I do canoeing.
So I've been asking everybody this tonight, Jerry. What's the allure of wanting to have Kevin Callan up on stage with you in all reality?
You know what the allure is? Because you never know what's going to happen. It is completely out of control the minute he's up on the stage, or even if he gets off the stage. Like when he started throwing those, I'm sure glad I made those rocks fake rocks, because if they were real rocks, we would all be in jail right now. I can tell you that. But yeah, you never know what he's going to do. I don't think Kevin knows what he's going to do either. He doesn't plan it out. It just like takes off. And so like I just kind of stand in the back and watch it unfold, and it's always way too much fun.
Oh, incredible.
I really do not know what I'm doing.
I believe that.
I tried to think of what I should do on the way there.
And then that never happens.
No.
I can't honestly understand why you want him playing harmonica on stage, though.
Oh, you know, now you know what?
I've heard him on numerous.
Well, obviously, the real reason is because we know that he can't play it. Okay. And so that would be fun. And then who knows what he would do with it. But what's really happening is that over this period of time that we have not been able to get on stage and play harmonica, Kevin has actually gotten pretty good at it. And, you know, now I'm not going to, you know, put him up there with the famous blues harmonica players of the world or anything, but he actually is getting pretty good at it. And you know, if we ever get a chance to do it, he actually might disappoint the audience by being good this time. So it's hard to say, but I'm still planning on it. I know you have your harmonicas close at hand whenever you're traveling, Kevin.
It is funny when you say that, because I have been practicing, but I think you're right, because you've never asked me to play drums, you son of a gun.
Well, you did play the bongos.
Well, yeah, I banged my hands on a barrel and threw it at the audience. Yeah,
that was in rhythm and on time. That was
it was, yeah. But what was funny is that I think it's great that I don't know what the hell I'm doing on stage.
Wow.
Especially when you were singing that duet with Ann when she took off your PFD. That was definitely
you can't make that stuff up.
No.
Or
and Ann never told me she was going to do that. She just went with it.
Well, I had that reaction to women.
Yeah. That's why I got also, Kristine in the song.
That's. I'm glad you did that. Actually, when I wore that cow outfit, remember it was people that won prizes to be up on stage with us, right?
That's right.
And the woman beside me, she pulled my udder, and I don't think her husband liked that at all. He gave me this look like, I'm going to kill you after the show, man.
Well, at least it was the udder and not something else.
Well, it was pretty close. So I think she's my first roadie.
You know, I think I know which woman that is. I can put her in touch with you if you want.
Okay.
I have to ask something, Kevin. How
groupie,
close is one of your harmonicas?
Okay.
What about harmonicas?
Kevin, how close is one of your harmonicas?
It's in the probably where my dog pooped. Should I go get it?
Wait, think you should go get it, Jerry?
Yeah, I don't know if we could do anything in sync, but we can try.
Oh, you know what? We've heard Kevin play. It doesn't matter. Does everybody want to hear Kevin play harmonica?
Wow. See, that sounds good.
All right. Let's
That's a
listen
lot
little
better
bit
than
of
we were 2 years ago.
Blue Bandana. Is that
Oh my
You
God,
want to try it, Kevin?
I don't know that it's been out and cold. It's really cold. Oh my God, that's cold. Kind of cold.
All right, let's see here. Wait a
Seriously, we're doing a song?
I think everybody, I'm seeing people saying yes. I got thumbs
It's
up.
9
I
o'clock.
got.
We're going to the 2-hour mark. We talked about this before.
You know, okay, so
we're going
all the
to an
people
hour,
that are-
2.5 hours. This is worth it tonight.
all the people that are listening in now, you know that they you know, this is going to be not in sync. Okay, so Kevin's going to be what, half a second behind me or something like that.
Yeah,
no, probably not even. I think we'll be pretty good.
Went to the store, bandana aisle, bright and blue, just my style. I traveled the world in every season. That bandana is falling all to pieces. Got a trip coming up, and I don't know what to do. With the rough and ragged, holy and haggard, blue bandana blue. Went back to the store, took a look around, but no bandana could be found. Now this one hurts, I ain't gonna lie. I miss that bandana more than all my ex-wives. I got a trip coming up, and I don't know what to do. With the rough and ragged, holy and haggard, blue bandana blues. Here comes the time we're gonna do a Kevin Callan solo. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I think I just cut myself.
All right, give a big hand, Kevin Callan on the blues harp. He needs to go into some old blues clubs and play that. I got a trip coming up, and I don't know what to do. With the rough and ragged, holy and haggard, blue bandana blue. Yeah, that rough and ragged, holy and haggard, jostled and jagged, totally tragic blue. Bandana blue. Don't let it happen to you. Big chord, Kevin.
All righty.
See,
We
what I
knew
tell
you had
ya?
it in you, Kevin. Good job.
The
Good
guy
job,
has
fellas.
it.
Thank
It's
you.
great.
Lord, man. I got Mick Jagger lips.
He's got the lips like Jagger. So, Jerry, really quickly before you depart for the evening and join us in the green room afterwards.
Yeah.
Any final words for Kevin?
Final words. I just hope we get back on the stage sometime soon. You know, I mean, I don't know where or when, but it's got to happen sometime. Are you going to be at the Toronto show this year?
Yeah, I'd probably do the Toronto show. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I might be up there for that.
Yeah. The Toronto show, basically you have to show that you're vaccinated when you go in the show. And Kobe's a little different. So I'm just being really cautious. And where I work, they're very cautious where I work.
Oh,
so,
I get it. And I totally understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Jerry, really quickly, where can people find your music?
They can find my music at paddlesongs.com or jerryvandiver.com. And coming soon, we're going to launch really soon. Caitlin Evans and I have, we're setting up to do, it'll be in the United States, of course, this summer. We're setting up to do a tour in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. So we're going to launch a Kate and Jerry website with some new music. And I'm really excited about that, actually. She's going to be a blast touring with her.
I'll pass on our hellos to Kaylin, and
we will do that.
Thank you very much for participating tonight.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure.
It's a
Kevin
huge
was
honor,
gonna
Jerry.
say-
If people don't know who you are out there, most of you do. But honestly, this guy has written songs for really famous people. But for us in the canoe community, you are famous.
Thank you, sir. I don't need to be famous. I'm just happy to be part of it all. It's a
I
blast.
listen to your music. My wife says, but you don't like country music. I go, but I like this stuff.
That's
Well,
not country.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry. Have a great evening.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers. Wow, Kevin, how you holding up, man? You're a rock star almost.
I'm gonna fall down soon. I swear to God. No, I'm good.
All right. So on with the next roaster. You know what? I went through this little checklist. It's like pissing on a campfire. Check.
Oh no! Don't tell me.
Leaving trash around the campsite. Check. Cutting down live trees for firewood. Check. Pooping in the woods and leaving toilet paper roses all over the place. Check. I wouldn't follow the rules either if I had a hand up my ass all the time. Please welcome to the live stream. We got Gary the Puppet and
God, I can't believe he's gone. Oh, I can't believe he's
okay.
He's in the cold, deep ground, and I know he was old,
Very old,
and weak,
very weak,
drunk, and foolish. But
yeah.
Wait a minute, Kevin Callan, you're still alive. I thought this was an in memoriam, or I thought this was a pull the plug ceremony that was being called in for here. What the hell's going on?
Hi, Gary. Hi, Gary.
Yeah, hi. Look behind Callan there. I'm surprised you brandish that poster behind you. You flaunt it. Look at Dr. Nature. Hey, Dr. Nature, you fraud. You know, people think that you've been the happy camper, quote unquote, your entire life. No, a series of pseudonyms and false identities. Dr. Nature, watch the blood drain from his face because he doesn't want me to tell you why he's no longer Dr. Nature. Isn't that right, Callan?
Don't go there, Gary.
Nobody knows this, but Callan made the rounds today and stopped by a few places, including our office, to let me know exactly what I should and should not be talking about here. So it's going to be a short conversation. Rest assured.
What did he say, Gary?
Yeah, there's a little bit about Dr. Nature and the trail of death and destruction he left in his path. What's next? The prancing pirate? Are you going to be a princess? I don't know. It's sad. What people will do to make a buck, you know? Yeah. What? What's going on?
Kevin's blushing.
Kevin's blushing.
Have you
hours into this?
Have you crafted any bush lately, Gary?
No comment. Brandy is waiting in the green room, so let's hurry this up. Okay. And what else? Adams.
Oh man, so much.
So many stories. One of my favorites is doing the Toronto Outdoor Show with Mr. Callan. Well, do you remember signing books there, Mr. Callan? With me, singing to you, serenading you while there was no one lining up for you to sign their book. And I was consoling you. Those were dark days. But then you added a character to your channel. A puppet, shall we say. And things seem to turn around for you. All of a sudden, there's big celebrations in your honor here. Yeah, coincidence? And keep in mind that they couldn't find 8 human beings to come and say nice things about you, or bad things about you, by the way. They had to bring in a puppet to fill in the roster. Sad.
But Gary, you and I have had some good and bad feelings when we're out in the woods. But you've taught people some really good things, like what not to do out there, Gary.
That's true. Yeah, by pointing out your foibles, your shortcomings. Yes, that's right. I am an educator.
Well, I did have to pull you out of the ice. Like you fell through the ice at this place. Remember that?
My heart will go on, Kevin. Yes, I remember it well.
Yeah, like you said the ice was safe and it wasn't, and I had to save you. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Gary,
you, Kevin.
what was the best thing you ever taught Kevin?
The best thing I ever taught Kevin. It's not humility. That's not his strong point. I have no idea because all of our videos seem to be rather pointless. But he just brings me in for eye candy.
Eye candy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Another
there a time you wore a Speedo for him?
Sorry?
Wasn't there a time you wore a Speedo for Kevin, or was that just a thong?
In one of our last videos, he knows when the ratings are dipping. Then he gets me to strip nude. Remember the inspect for ticks scene there, right, Kevin?
It's all you.
Oh, yeah. You took a real thorough look for ticks, that's for sure. That was hours. Yeah, after the shoot. Yeah, let's not go into that right now.
I'm really quite fascinated how a puppet used to not have nipples and hair on his chest, and now you do. When did that happen?
there are changes that happen in a boy's life, Kevin. Do you not know? I mean, like, really, yeah, things. I matured somewhat, as you know thoroughly.
And Gary, do you remember the time when the Peterborough Police hired you to actually teach young kids and how to be proper, and then you only lasted 1 or 2 gigs, and they never asked you back?
Yeah, that did not go well. That's true. Those were some hard times, but I bounced back, Kevin. But thanks for pointing that out. Are we roasting me? Okay. I think we got to cut this short. You know, this has gone on too long. Nobody has the patience for this. I'm out of here. Which way? Oh yeah, that way.
Jay Scott, did we upset Gary?
Yeah, it happens. It's okay. We got lots of green M&Ms back there for him. He'll be fine.
I see you donning a Mr. Nature poster and behind you there as well.
Represent.
I've told Gary way too many Dr. Nature stories.
Yes.
Well, what can you guys tell me about this crafting of bush?
Whoa.
Hey, buddy. Gary, you want to share some crafting of bush stories? Oh, I think we really pissed him off. You know what? The talent, he's going back for his green M&Ms. So
yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of clapping to get that guy back here.
Yeah. Come on, people. Let's see some hands in the chat over there.
There it is.
Didn't take much.
Thanks, Gary.
Did you have to go piss on a fire?
Dixie cup or something.
Ugh. That's an unsavory story. The Dixie cup. Yeah, I've seen too much of that.
So Gary, you've had a few experiences with Kevin here in the past, or in the recent past. Some really cool Christmas videos and stuff like that. What would you say is your most memorable moment with Kevin Callan, besides looking for ticks all over your body?
My most memorable moment. Scott, what's your favorite Gary Kevin moment?
Oh, probably the Ouija board. That was fun.
Oh no, it wasn't. No, that was evil. No,
Kevin Callan went all demonic.
Yeah,
that's right.
No.
Dragged me through the woods. Yeah.
Yeah, smash your head with a paddle.
Smash my head with a paddle. Yeah, he's a real gentleman of the woods, isn't he? Yeah, that's right.
Yep. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I did throw you out in the snow when you came to the Christmas party unannounced and uninvited.
The Christmas party, that was good. Yeah.
That was a pleasant memory as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I always get painted as the bad guy and listen to all these stories. It's often me being abused at the hands of Callan.
You did walk past the Christmas tree naked, Gary. That's why you got thrown out of the party.
I told you, I'm a passionate paddler.
He almost choked on that one, Kevin.
I enjoy the woods au naturel.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Right. Have you had enough?
We've had enough. Gary, thanks very much for joining us.
I love
we
you,
know
Kevin.
you really
Happy birthday.
love Kevin Callan.
All right.
So, all right, fellas. Thanks very
Cheers,
much,
Gary.
Scott. Appreciate you popping on tonight.
No problem.
Remember,
And now we're going to be moving on to the real eye candy of this roast tonight.
Gary, just make sure you poop proper in the woods next time when I go with you. All right. Thank you very much.
No toilet paper roses. Well, Kevin, we're down to our last roaster of the evening. It's been a really fun time here. But you know what? Without further ado, let's get on with this and ease the pain a little bit for you. Our final roaster of the evening is a lovely lady who loves her dog, Oliver. She also has a very special place in her heart for Kevin. And she clearly loves Kevin's wardrobe choices because she dresses her dog in Kevin's clothing. And Kevin, I must really admit that the clothes that you wear look much better on Oliver than on you. Yeah. So anyways, please welcome to the live stream the better half of Kevin Callan, Kristine Redmond. Kristine, how are you doing tonight, hon?
I'm great, Dennis. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Well, you know what? Somebody has to touch on the softer side of Kevin Callan, and who better than yourself?
Okay. Yeah. And I was very excited to be here when I heard that Gary was going to be here tonight.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even though he has new nipples. Kind of funny, right?
I've seen Gary's nipples, but we're not going to talk about that tonight.
Do I need to bring Gary back up on screen again?
Maybe later. Later in the green room.
Okay.
How are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing good. So do you have a puke bucket beside you? Because you said you're so nervous to be on tonight.
Everybody has fancy props like books and, stuff. So I have, this isn't my forte being, in front of the camera here. So I've got my puke bucket. But I do have my popcorn and I have my wine, which is the bottle is kind of empty at this point. Kevin bought me this wine, actually.
Yeah, like yesterday.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. It's got his pajamas on it.
It looks like Kevin, no?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, that's what I thought. So, Kevin, what I wanted to share with you tonight is we all know that you're a very famous writer, but I can write as well. I don't think you realize that I can write things also. Okay, so what I'm sharing tonight is some poems that I've written for you. Okay, and I spent a lot of time today doing this, so you're going to like them. Okay, and they're all romantic and very from my heart. And I just thought you might, need some loving after tonight. So I've written some nice poems for you. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to like them?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. There's a few of them. And I didn't plagiarize at all. Not at all. Ready? Roses are red. Violets are blue. Poems are hard. You're old. You like that one? Okay. That was the first one. That was my first try. Okay. They get better. This one's better, I promise.
Okay.
Roses are red. Violets are blue. My poems suck, but I'm younger than you.
Oh.
I can write things too. Here we go. Couple more. I'm on a roll. Okay. Roses are red. Violets are blue. The dog is my favorite, but you're okay too.
Oh.
Can you handle a couple more?
Yeah.
Are you feeling the love?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I met you.
Okay, here we go. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Your best position is stern in canoe. Are you writing these down, Kevin?
No, but there was a bit of a pause there from.
Okay, we're almost at the end. I know it's painful. I know. Roses are red. Who cares? Drink scotch. Okay, one more. One more. You feeling the love yet, Kevin?
Oh, yep, big time. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Roses are red. Violets are blue. You make the world better by just being you.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Kevin. We love you and we appreciate you. And you just get better every year. Cheers to you.
Cheers. Love you.
Cheers to that. Whoa, I keep the lovebirds beside each other here. There we go. Kristine, you are quite the poet. You're
Thank
a poet
you.
and didn't know it, right?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
If
That's like
there's
your
any,
Cousin
like-
Rose tribute to Kevin, right?
If there's any publishers out there,
Kevin, give her advice on that.
Yeah.
Self-publish. Start with PDFs. Kristine, thank you very much. I have to ask. You've been with Kevin now for quite a few years, and
yeah,
your sense of humor when you're back in backcountry camping situations, and whether there or maybe in your kitchen while you're cooking, how does Kevin really make you feel when he puts you into these awkward moments? Kevin, you said you wouldn't do this. Kevin, I said no.
Well, usually there's like a second of irritation sometimes, like not always if he puts me on the spot. But you know what? Honestly, like Kevin is such a joy to be around. And I say that seriously because he's just so much fun. And honestly, it's just fun. Like I'm privileged really to have met him and to have him in my life. And what else can I say? I mean,
Yep. Well, you know what? I can honestly say that he is an inspiration to many, but I don't think many people will share a sleeping bag made for two with him. That's, yeah.
And you should not. You shouldn't.
No. But you know what? Continue dressing Oliver in his clothes because, like I say, Oliver looks cute as hell. And Kevin, let her dog be cold. That's all good. Kristine, thanks very much. You know what? I am so happy that you actually came on the show. We've met on a couple of occasions, and I was really hoping to have you on the show at one time or another, and there couldn't be a better situation to have you on the show than tonight. So thanks very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dennis. Happy to be here.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Yeah, and you have an incredible amount of patience, I tell you, to be hanging around with one hyper anxious kid. I tell you, but we have a good time out there, and you have a good heart, so it's fantastic.
Awesome. Kristine, we will see you in the green room. Alrighty. Oh, was that for me or Kevin?
Both of you.
See you in a bit, Kristine. That is awesome. Well, Kevin, you know what? I think you got the best of the best from 9 individuals that either are close acquaintances, friends, or just like family to you. And I can honestly say that over the last couple of seasons that I've actually gotten to know you here on Canoehound's Outdoor Adventure Show, there's not many people that I actually put together an introduction for, or that I would consider doing a roast like this. But you, my friend, even though we don't see each other very often, other than right here on this platform, consider you a huge friend and somebody that I could contact and reach out to. Heck, you even helped me with my canoe trip this summer via Skype. We sat down and you shared a whole bunch of information with me and my buddies. And you know what? That's just the kind of guy that Kevin Callan really is. He may be a quirky guy, the way he carries on. I'm sure he has a serious side as well. But you know what? It seems to me that Kevin would step out on a limb for anybody and do the right thing and help out or give whatever he can. It's clearly visible with the things that he does just by what you see going across the screen right now. He said he wanted to do this, but only if it had a purpose. And I think that's a good thing that we could say about you, Kevin, is you do have a heart of gold. Thank you very much for all that you do for this paddling community.
Well, thanks a lot, Dennis. And I had a blast, and I hope everybody did as well. And I got to say, I have some amazing friends and amazing partner. I know that every day, but then there's days when you get reminded of that. But also all the people out there, the whole audience, just enjoying it and being connected and actually wanting to do something to help out the canoe community. I think it's fantastic. I think that's why I've always wanted to be part of all this. Because there's a lot of negative in the world, but there's so much positive.
Yeah, and you know what? Just like Sean Rowley said, we've been hoping to get together and do a paddle or a trip of some sort. A couple of weeks ago, or a month ago, it didn't really work out for Naganosh too well. But you know what? One day we will dip a paddle together. You could put your single blade in. I'll put my double blade in, and we'll just have that controversy the whole evening, or the whole day. But you know what? I'll pull out my single paddle in your honor as well. So thank you very much, Kevin. You know what, dude? You're a great guy. To everybody in the chat tonight, hopefully you really enjoyed the Kevin Callan roast. And remember, these little things right here are going to make a difference. Maybe not a huge difference, but they're going to make a little difference. They're going to mean maybe, getting an underprivileged youth back into the bush, because like I say, we are donating the profits from this to Project Canoe. Please do pick one up. They're only $10. You know what? Buy more than one. I'm sure you have more than one Nalgene bottle. You have more than one food barrel. You know what? Maybe I'll talk to Andy Baxter and see if he'll buy 100 of these and he'll throw one in with each barrel that he sells or something, right? But by all means, what do you think, Kevin? You think everybody should have one of these, obviously, right?
Yeah. If you don't know anything about Project Canoe, just realize that they take youth that would never have a chance to go out on a canoe trip, and it changes their life. I've seen it, and I've helped them for years. It's just not a new thing. I do a lot of charity things, whatever, but they're a really good group that I love working with, because it makes a difference. So, and they didn't even know we're going to do this.
No, they didn't. It'll be something where we'll surprise them, and we'll just shoot them an online donation with whatever the proceeds are, and we will keep everybody up to date with how much money we've actually raised for Project Canoe. One thing I will say that I'm not sure, I was trying to watch a chat tonight, but I didn't really see. But if I did get any super chats tonight, I'm going to donate that money from the super chats right over to Project Canoe as well. As I always say, I always ask for support for the channel here. And you know what? So many people have stepped up to the plate and become channel members, buy me a coffee, super chats and stuff like that. And it's not all about doing it for the money when it comes to this type of thing. I really do like to give back to the paddling community as well. So if any super chats did come in tonight, I will automatically tack them on to whatever the final tally is for Project Canoe. And let's see if we can make a difference for a youth or two. For those of you that might have ever been challenged too by Chris Prouse. Chris Prouse had out a really good canoe flip challenge a couple years ago. And it went through the whole community type of thing. Many people stepped up and did the canoe flip challenge, including myself and Super Canoehound, which was a lot of fun. And you know what? It raised quite a bit of money for him. We had Project Canoe last season, I think around week 2 or 3 or something like that, here on the show. And they really explained what they did. You can go back into season 2 playlists, look for Project Canoe, and watch the show, or at least get the highlights from it, because it's a really worthwhile cause. So by all means, please do try to help out wherever you can, people. Kevin, keep being you.
Well, and cheers to you, Dennis. You do a lot of work every Tuesday to make all these things happen, and you've created a canoe community here. So cheers for that.
Thank you.
And we got to wrap this up because my dog has to poop again.
Yes, and my it's going right through. Anyways, just want to thank you.
At the door, looking at me like, what the heck?
Yeah. Huge thanks to all the roasters for stepping up. Like I say, a lot of you stepping out of your comfort zone. For those of you that are still in the basement, Kevin, once again for being you. Everybody in the chat for your weekly support. Stay tuned for what's going to be happening on next week's show through Facebook. And if you haven't already done so, please, it makes a big difference. Hit that thumbs up down there if you haven't already done so, and hit the subscribe button. In the meantime, my name is Dennis, Canoehound Adventures. And remember, people, keep the adventures alive. Have a great week.